Hi, friends. This is Caitlin. I am excited to be randomly jumping on for a live. I hold on. I want to share that I'm live because it's very random. Let me share it to my stories really quick. Hi, friends. I'm here live. If you see this now, come hang out. Let's add a link. It says somebody's here. Hang with me here. Okay. Well, oh, I see people. I see people. I see Kate and Diane and Lori. Thank you guys so much for jumping in. I have a fun little scene. I have a card I need to make for part of my design teamwork for Saturday. And so I thought if I'm going to be sitting here coloring, I could color live. So we'll do the big reveal in a minute. But I basically built my card around this new stamp set, which is the main feature. So this is the Fair We Readers. It's new. It came out this past weekend. And so I used both of the little fairies, one of the ladybugs and the book, and we'll add the sentiment afterwards. But I paired it with the Horizon Lines Wildflower Meadow. I used some of the grass, this mean big scene, sorry, and the florals. And um, it's all covered because I want to add in my sky before I peel everything and start my Copic coloring. Let me grab my inks. I want to ink this so I don't have to color my sky. Coloring skies is my least favorite thing to do in all of card making. Very closely followed by fussy cutting, but I definitely, skies don't make me happy. So I thought it would be cute to add some little puffy clouds. So I'm going to go in with some tumbled glass distress ink, and I'm going to start on my stencil and blend up. And this top one, I'm going to also start from the top and blend down. This is the only layer I'll do that with because I want the sky to look blue. So that's going to give us a puffy cloud there. I have a feeling most people will find this video later on in their, like as a rewatch. So if you're watching this later, hi, how are you? I think 2 little rounds of these clouds will probably be enough. Just holding my stencil in place. I'm not going to be working on this very long. But with this round, I want to make sure that that blue stays closer to the stencil so that we still get that white puffy cloud. And that's going to be it for the sky. Really simple, but way faster than me trying to color up my sky. All right, so now's the exciting part, the full peel and reveal. So I started with the parts that were closest to me getting stamped, and then I masked and worked my way backwards. So we will peel in the opposite direction, revealing our background first. Go and grass. Should have been more gentle with that one. Thanks, Diane. And my little bear wings. And There we go. So we're just kind of getting this little peek at them reading with this whole magical landscape laid out behind them. I think that's a really fun little take on these. Diane, I just use full stick Post-it notes. So they're the kind where only the bottom is not sticky. That's been my go-to. So like for these ones, I just like stamped and fussy cut them out. And when I need to block a bunch of it, I'll just use a whole one. But these little ones, I'll be able to keep. The little fairways held up pretty good. So I like to slip the backing panel out of my stamp set. And I will pop those right back there. And I'll be able to use them at least 2 or 3 more times minimum. Okay, so that's our little seam. There we go. Okay. You need to go lay down. All right. I think I want to try to start with some of the most like background things and work our way up, but I might jump around a little bit. Stop. Lay down. Lay down. Sorry. I think I want my mountains to still be green. I don't think I want Rocky Mountains for this one. And the further back they are, the lighter they would be. So I'm going to go in with some G43. And I'm going to add that shading to the bottom. And then I'm also going to pull it up right there in the middle. Same over there. And we'll jump to G40 to blend that out. Kind of keep it a little simple back there. We wouldn't have a ton of detail anyway because it's so far away. We can bring back some of that same green for these back fields. And this whole panel is gonna be trimmed down too. Diane, I've never used the Gina K. I've heard it's great, but I feel like I would be the same way. Like I never have guilt using my Post-it notes. But I feel, yeah, I can relate to that feeling. I think I would want to like hoard it and keep it safe. Hold on one second. My dog apparently has to go out right now. I'll let her go get some zoomies out. Okay, so we're already starting. That green already helps my brain kind of fill in the next step. So I think for my trees, I want to give them some flowers. It doesn't have to be like the whole thing, but I think adding some little pops of color could be cute. I like to add them first. So that when I go with my green, I can kind of work around them. I'm going to go in with this dark green, this G29. And start laying in some of that, just kind of tapping the color in anywhere where like one of these little sections is kind of drawn over another, and then also along the bottom. So kind of like behind all of these little rounded cloudy shapes. And then also at the this giant like tower of tree. Probably have a little bit of a different kind of tree than everything else, but for simplicity, we're just going to color them the same. So that was G29. Let's go. There's something I can switch. Just grab a little scrap of, yeah, Express It. I have this all stamped on Copic Express It paper, and I stamped it with Honeybee Stamps Intense Black ink. That's my usual kind of go-to combination. And so with this G17, I'm just kind of filling up and around. We're not filling in everything yet, but we want to start eating away at that white and just being careful to avoid the pink. For this bigger one, there's a lot more white space to fill. So just being mindful of that. I'm going to go G3, something really light. But I do really like how these true greens pop so differently from the YGs that we used on the grass. So I think we'll keep up with YGs on the rest of our grass as we move through the scene. Here we go. Some pretty floral little trees on our landscape. I guess we just work our way up. So I am going to switch over to those YGs. Can pop in a little bit of this YG09 in with those 40s that we were using before. That'll help to start kind of waking everything up. Brightening everything up a little bit. And bring back a little of that G24 to light over that. A little YG05. It's leaking. I'm just kind of working around these little like floral clusters that are built into our scene from our stamps. We'll kind of approach those the same way we did the trees, where we can kind of color block in some of the florals and stuff before we add the green. Go back in with a little bit of that YG09. I think in theory this was meant to be water. But I've kind of already filled in part of it with green. I'm gonna bring in some BO2. And we'll just start giving that some color and some B00. They're kind of all turned into one. Bring in a little bit. Just trying to like break up. And I really don't mind the green overlapping on the back, because like as it gets further away and those bushes and trees kind of pop up more, it makes sense that there would be more green reflected in that water. So that's fine with me. Let's grab a little brown. for this kind of rocky little edge that we have going on that wasn't dark enough. So be the darkest, kind of tucked into the shadows. And a little 43. Go. Little stream. Let's go. I want to bring in another color besides our pink. Also, these pinks all being the same colors, like a little bit. I did the RV 25 at first. So I'm going to go in with teeny tiny little dots of 29, RV 29. I know we wouldn't see a ton of detail that far away, but I think just breaking up that pink a little bit is going to just give a nicer look, especially once we start adding in these little like floral bunches in our meadow. It just kind of breaks it up a little bit. All right, but I don't want just pink in our flowers. I do want a little pink, but I think also some yellow and some purple. Six. So for these ones that are really far back, just gonna dot in the colors. And then I'll save these bigger floral pink ones in the front. And we'll do those next. Bring that same RV 25. Used for the trees. And I'm dotting all that color in, but I'm still leaving some space because I am going to want to bring in some green. Kind of just filling in the gaps. I'm going to go ahead and stop. You should be done sprinting by now. Okay, there's your treat. Okay. At least you can see all that color starting to pop up. Let's see. Diane said, do you have a full set? I don't have the full set. I can show you what my hex chart looks like. I'm pretty close. All of these kind of really light colors are the ones that I don't have. So I also have a little stack up here of dried out markers. So yeah, I don't have the full set. I don't think at this point I even want the full set. I'm pretty happy with what I have now. And I do plan on replacing most of the ones that have dried out. Um, I just use them so much that for me it's worth it. But I didn't buy them in sets. I bought them all one at a time over probably 3 years. I do also have the Olos. Those I have the full set of. They were given to me by Pink and Mean to use in my lives on their channel very graciously. And so I do use them. I do like them, but I learned on coloring on Copics, and they will always have a place in my heart. I'm just breaking up some of the color with like one shade darker, like I did with the trees. And I probably won't do it with the yellow because then it'll just pull orange, but kind of just tapping in some color will help kind of breaking those up. We'll break those up and brighten them up. Oh my goodness. You do re-ink the Copics, that you can buy re-inkers, refills. They look like this. And it's just one tube full of color. And you can just drop the ink right into your marker. But I don't have all of those either, which is why I have some that have dried out. Okay, let's add in some green behind her little head. Now for these bigger floral patches, I'm going to start putting in the green first because I can kind of work around the flowers. Because like I can see where they are, right, with this one. We're not just like winging it. Kind of come in between the little bits of grass. And with my Copics, I do like to work in sections so that my ink doesn't dry completely on the paper. So we'll come back and do this center section between them in a second. I'll start to fill in all of this grassy space. We'll come in with like a regular green for the stems. I think that'll be a nice way to kind of just bring in more variation and tie in those back trees a little bit. So I'm really just trying to get all of the in-between parts of this Passover. Let me grab G17 for that middle shade for that trees. And we can start bringing that in on the leaves and the stems. This is all like our background too. So I don't want to like scribble on it, but at the same time, it doesn't need the most precision and care ever because it's not the focus. Those little girls are going to eventually be pulling most of the focus, and like these outer sections are probably going to get cut off completely anyway. So I still want to fill it in, but I'm not stressing over every single little section and decision. Okay. Now we have those bigger florals. I like to work darkest to lightest, so I'm going to come in with my RB29 and start pulling that color out. Little flicks kind of around the circle. And I'm skipping some because we'll come back in with the yellow and the purple. We'll jump up to that RB25. Fill that in. And I'll probably have to come back in a couple times with my little color, like other colors to fill in the little bits, the little background flowers as I see like what's left. I love this set because you can make it very like fall too, just depending on the colors that you pick for your flowers. All right, for our yellow, we'll use this Y35 as our darker shade. Centers of our other colored flowers. And we can come in with like or something really bright and punchy. That's a flower. Let's pull in that pink one more time. I'll just go back in one more time with that YG03 just to fill in any spaces. Look like they got skipped. Here. This is so cute. Okay, for this front section and the right in between them, I am going to be a little bit more careful. And I think I want a little bit of a darker green to bring in some shading under the grass, but I'm going to use this really sparingly. So YG99 is just going to get little flicks here and there along the bottom of the stamped grass, and then kind of here and there between them, kind of making little tapered. Hey, Jackie Ann. And I'm going to add some of this darker green under the book as well. And I can go under her little bug. That's a big jump. You might need we might need a little something to transition that over. Yeah, that's too big of a jump. Let's see. Let's try a little IG97. You can glaze over all of this with a happier green too. I just really wanted to add a little extra definition up here to the front and help it kind of stand out. Hey, Barbara. Now I'll try jumping back in with that YG09. Just kind of flicking that color in. And start kind of pulling around. My sentiment is going to go down here, so I'm going to try to leave that a little lighter. Jump over to YG05. And this grass can get filled in. Got a little color there on our little ladybug, but that's okay. Because his head's going to be black anyway. We'll be able to cover that up. I'm not liking how this front grass is like transitioning into the other grass, but we'll just keep futzing until we like it. Hey, Barbara, thank you. This is These are all from Sweet November Stamps. I wanted to feature these little ladies who are um, new to the Sweet November release. They just came out. And so I thought I would build them a really fun, like little whimsical world to live in. So I'm bringing in a little bit of Geo7 here as like a better transition shade, I think. Something to help get us from that YG99 and something we can add some more little flicks with, help kind of break up some of that color. Yeah, Barbara, Amy's amazing. I've been on the Sweet November Stamps design team for I think 4 years now. Um, and she's just amazing. And they're so kind. And it's like always exciting to work, with artists that you like, but when they're like good people on top of that, I've been really lucky between Sweet November and Michelle at Pink and Mean. I've gotten to work with some really, truly lovely people. Okay, now we got to get this space back between them. Hey, Connie. I know this was a very impromptu live. I did not give any warning. I was not planning on going live. I sat down earlier before dinner to get these masks, like mask up this scene and get it started. And then I was just thinking, oh, it might be like this usually take me a good chunk of time. So this might be a good one. Maybe I should just like go live and see what happens. And I figured I'd wait and see how I felt. And I have a little cough, but not too bad. I figured I would try. And so here we are. All right. Let me get, let's finish coloring up the crows and let's color a ladybug. And we'll figure out how much more of this grass I'm pulling down or not in a minute. Barbara, yeah, I'm finally starting to actually feel better. Finally. I'm going to color them with kind of my normal Caucasian skin tone. But I do want to give them, I think, some fun hair. Like maybe they are like little fairies that belong in this meadow. Maybe they have some of those flower colors in their hair. I always add like a little fake nose to my leaves. I'll add a little extra shading there, bottom of her arm. Her foot's kind of popped up behind her. I'm going with some E13. And after this live, I'll go in and add um, anything like to the description that we used. Her leg is kind of showing through her wing, so I am not filling that in completely. I'm keeping it a little lighter so that when we go over everything with whatever color we end up with on the wings, it'll kind of just look like it's peeking through. She needs a little blush, I think. Give her a little R20. And knock that back down with some E00. Go. Just get her skin tone out of the way too. These two are just so cute, cozied up, reading together. Pulling in the shading from outside around the edges of the face. And the same thing on her little leg, not worrying about filling that in completely because it's through her wing. Oh, she needs some blush in hers too. There we go. Get a little ladybug. I think I already said that once. Color solid. C5 for the top of its head. Bring in a little R39 at the bottom through kind of where the wings are. Really neat. And I can pull that up with some 46. Filling that out with a little R20. I think that's pretty cute. I'm going to keep my greens out in case we need to edit on that grass, but set them to the side. I think I want, like I said, them to have some fun hair that works with our little scene. So I'm going to give the older fairy, the bigger fairy girl, some hot pink hair, I think. So I like to start adding in my shading, my lines right around those artist drawn lines. And then we can also start filling in and breaking up the space a little. Find it's easiest if I follow the shapes of what's already there. So like these curve, so this middle one is going to curve as well. And it's nice if you can add some flicks going like from the top and some coming from the bottom. That'll help give more of like a higher shine look. So, and we're going to blend that out with some RV 29. And I'm basically just extending and thickening all of those lines. And fairways are drawn pretty simply, right? There's not like a ton of detail on them. And so my coloring is going to kind of match that. I'm still adding detail, I'm still adding dimension, but I'm not trying to overcomplicate it either because it won't fit with the illustration. The more simply something is drawn, the more simple you can color it. There's her fun little pink hair. Thanks, Barbara. And I think maybe the other one will have some purple hair. Or maybe they should be the same because they're like sisters. But their dresses will be different. Ooh, that's good. Just me drawing on my fingers. All right, so for these bangs, I'm going to pull some color down from the top. And then same as before, I'm going to kind of come in between those spots and pull some color up from the bottom. Choose color ponytail. Just leaving some tiny little slivers of white to fill in with that latest pink. Perfect. Well, I don't know if they're perfect, but I'm happy. Okay, for her dress, we'll keep it really simple. A little tiny bit of V09. Pull that out with some V06. Then a little V12. And I'm not filling in that whole space, same as with her leg. I want to leave that little hint of white because closer to the edge of the wing would kind of move that color around a little bit. Let me take that middle shade though, that V06, and color in her shoe. Okay, and then I guess her dress will be yellow. Mm, 38. And these two little spots. Let's bring in E13. And back her ornament on her neck. So we did Y38, and we can bring in some 35. And fill that in with Y4. And let's see, for her little wing background, she needs just a little touch of green there. And she can have just a little hint of green. For the wings, I think I'm going to try to keep it pretty simple and just bring in some BG10 and just do a little wash of that kind of over everything. Thanks, Barbara. I love coloring, and I love coloring not alone. So I usually color like watching other people's lives or listening to somebody else live. But it's very fun for me to be live and be the one kind of leading the hangout. All right, for our book, I'm going to bring in a little bit of E43 from the center. And then from the center of like the actual page part as well. And then I'm going to blend that out with a little 30. Just so they're not like completely stark white. Let's bring in that blue that we had back there one more time for our book cover. And we can bring in a little bit deeper with 18, just because that looks like so bright. We'll bring that in from the center, and that'll help cool it down. All right, now let's look at some die cutting. We could go stitch rectangle. We could go like wonky watercolor edge. I'm kind of leaning wonky watercolor edge because it fits the like fantasy theme, but I don't know. I don't want to cut too much away. I don't know. That looks pretty cute. And then I wouldn't have to worry about that grass. And our sentiment is really thin, so that would definitely still fit there. All right. I think we sacrifice. I think we sacrifice some of it. Yeah, Jackie Ann said yes. Wonky. I love that. These like rough edged lines. And this is one where I had not picked out pattern paper or anything ahead of time to check color against. So there's our little seam. If it bothers you to get rid of that much of your coloring, you can always like pick your die ahead of time and mark it out with like a pencil. That way you know ahead of time that you're not coloring something you're going to chop away at. But it does not bother me at this point. I think I want to bring in another maybe regular green and just see if I can break up a little bit more of this little edge. I'm not worried about down here because, like I said, that's where my sentiment's going to go. I think the YG99 was a mistake. I think it was too harsh. A little G99 might. So dark too. Maybe some 29. 29 is what we used on those back trees. Yeah, I like that better. Just something to help kind of transition that YG back into the rest of this little world we're creating. I like this kind of like a vignette look that it's giving too, having the grass around the edges and not in the middle. But that's looking a lot nicer to my eye. Let's see. Let's grab a bin of colorful cardstock and see what kind of colors could be cute. I have this set. Gingham. We could do yellow. That's kind of cute, maybe with like a white, little white border. Do a little pink. purple. Those three are pretty good tone-wise. No matter what, I think they need a white matte. I didn't realize how zoomed in it was. I kind of like the pink or the yellow. I think. Anybody have a strong opinion between the purple, the pink, and the yellow? I know, maybe the purple. Those are good. Let me get a white, some white cardstock. And we'll at least make a little matte first. I like the wonky, but I think it needs a little frame. Jackie Ann says purple. Connie says pink. Okay, well, at least we know yellow's out. You are 4 3/4 and 4.5. So let's go. Let me cut this regular first. All right, let's go 4 3/4. Purple and pink. I don't know. I think the pink on pink takes away from like their hair. I think purple pushes them more. I think that looks so cute. And it says purple too. Yeah, I think I'm leaning purple. Okay, let's, I think I want these connected flat, and then we can pop this whole thing up with some foams. Let me get this on to our white layer first, and then we can stamp our sentiment. Because with those wonky edges, getting something to lay correctly and then messy would have not been fun. So, smarter, not harder, right? Now we have a nice edge to hold that in place. And our sentiment. Straight. I'm just going to stamp the sentiment in black so it's super clear and legible. I do want to let you guys know I have a video coming on Wednesday and Friday this week as well. So if you are catching this later or you jumped in late because I didn't give any warning, just know that there's lots of content coming this week. We have a Pink and Main new release coming on Friday, so I'll have a I'll have my Instagram hop card the process of that on Friday. And then Wednesday, I'm sharing a fun little card with a new set that I treated myself to from Trinity. I had never used Trinity stamps before. What am I doing? I need, oh, why did I stand up for that? So the sentiment is some stories stay with us forever, which I think is so cute. And something that I've learned from Amy Young from Sweet November is how fun it can be to add like little sparkle magic dots and things, twinkles in white in these little scenes. So I want to try that around our little fairies, I think. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with how this is coming out. This card is going to get posted on Saturday. So I have a white water-based paint pen. And I think I want to just give some like a little, I can't see them. Maybe I'm not doing them best. This is not my specialty, these little sparkle marks, to be the most transparent with you. But I do think they're really cute. Maybe the colors just aren't dark enough, or maybe there's just too much going on. Up close, you can see it a little better. I just think it's fun. Maybe we'll add some actual sparkle to it too. Let's see, I have this little glitter glue. And I put my hand in it. Great. I think when that dries, that'll be really pretty. It just gives a little hint of sparkle. But yeah, that is our card for tonight. Just a little extra bonus card. So thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. I promise that if I'm going to do lives more often, which I want to, that I will try to come up with some kind of actual schedule or something so that everybody can know when I'm going to be live if you want to come hang out. But yeah, I hope that this was cool. I appreciate you. If you're watching this later, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everybody watching has a great night, and I will see you guys soon. I'll be live tomorrow with Pink and Maine doing some sneak peeks for their new release. That's over on their channel at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Same on Thursday, and then I'll have videos here Wednesday and Friday. So pretty much every day this week, you can find me somewhere if you want to. I hope you guys have a good night. And until next time, happy crafting.